Alright, let's edit this stream info on Twitch real quick. Alright. See this changeover, writing, back to chapter 2. Alright, and then we hit start all. So, back on Twitch, back on Kick. How y'all doing? I'm back to working on chapter 2 here. In a weird transition, trying to get into the right state to actually get this going. For now, he had to carefully deflect. Let's get rid of that. As he was about to go on, Giselle interrupted. Not elaborate, the time for truth would come later. In private, for now, he had to carefully deflect. As he was about to go on, Giselle interrupted. Oh, you're a singer. Her wide blue eyes turned toward Arista as though seeing her in a new, vibrant light. You must sing for us, please. It would be ever so lovely to hear the voice that so enchanted our Prince Garrett. He blanched. Using blanched. Lightened, faded, blenched, go pale, bleached. No. He what? He shuddered? What's up? How you doing? Thanks, I appreciate that, Beer Chug. Appreciate you popping in and making a comment, too. Every little bit helps. Her wide-blue eyes turned toward Arista as though seeing her in new, vibrant light. You must sing for us, please. It would be ever so lovely to hear the voice that so enchanted her Prince Garrett. He shuddered. Actually, it said too much already. Lulu! No! No! Go lay down. Go lay down, Lou. Go lay down. Good girl. Okay, I'll accept that. See, I'm in one of those moments where it's real tempting to sit back and wait for inspiration, but I'm powering through. On page 12, 4,645 words right now. If I can get to like 5,500 words in this session, I'll be pretty happy. Um, it's a little bit like I'm walking through mud. Noble ladies folded their hands. Um, this takes me neatly into scene 5. Okay. Hello?
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 Am I talking to Jack?
Yeah. What's up?
Yes, that is. Yeah, good. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. And I've called you regarding the job offer. You have applied for the role of laboratory technician.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's with our client, Target, located in Elk River, Minnesota. And Jack, there is still which I have says that you're currently working as a freelancer.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you have this freelance?
no. That's great. So the job offer that I've been waiting to hear back on to set up a second interview supposed to get a hold of me yesterday or today. They haven't gotten a hold of me. And that was another agency entirely that just shot me down for 2 jobs. So, yay. Which is good. I need to keep getting rejections out of the fucking blue like that, so I remember that I have no choice but to keep writing. God, that's depressing. And that, I shouldn't have answered the phone. I shouldn't have even answered the damn phone. It's actually got me out of wanting to fucking work right now. It just makes you want to go buy alcohol right now. That's the way I'm feeling. Just go get drunk and feel sorry for myself. That's what I feel like doing now. After that, out of the blue, just, hey, we can't hire you for this. It's ridiculous that so many places only want to hire you if you have experience. Especially at the age that I'm at. I'm trying to get out of... Yeah. Trying to get out of fucking retail, trying to get something more professional, and... It's just depressing. It's just really, really depressing. Like, I just got rejected for 2 jobs out of the blue. So please buy my book, I guess is what I'm saying. I really, 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 really need the aid, the help, the finances, to eat, to survive, to save my fucking marriage. Like, this is... Oh, God. Yeah, this is not good. absolutely cheating the ChatGPT right now. I should be relying more on myself and just writing out words, but yeah, unfortunately that gave me feelings. Fuck. Yeah? Stop. Stop. Lulu baby, I love you. You shut the fuck up. Yeah, shut up. Shut up, Lulu. Okay. Really watching my word count right now just because I'm desperate to give myself an excuse to escape. This is, it's tough. Okay. And then another ad from BioLife. Yep, I'm gonna have to sell plasma pretty soon. Hey, how's it going, book buyer? How's your project going? I feel like I'm walking through mud right now. Yeah, I'm kind of guilty of the same thing. You shouldn't do that. You should just power through it and then deal with the editing process. But it's tough. You want it to all just be right away. How far have you gotten? Okay, rock on. That's really good. Oh yeah, what's your average word count? Have you got that figured out? Do you know what kind of space you're aiming for? Okay, yeah, that is pretty short. Chided, is chided the right word here? Let's look at synonyms. No. Okay. You should work on amping that up, for sure. but let's see, 500 to 1,500 words. Yeah. I would say don't worry about editing right now, and maybe consider you might have to do a rewrite. When I first started my first book, I think I had some chapters when I first started working on it that were like 500, 1,500 words. I was going for about 2,500 on average. And then I just started the whole thing over again. And that definitely helped me to get it up. Chided's not the word. Nonsense Garrett, his mother. Said half scolding. That works. That's good. Then you're basically just getting a draft done, and you can catch all that stuff later when you do a proper edit. Which means you kind of got to stop yourself from editing now. I was considering... Chiding seems like, when I looked at the synonyms, like it was a little bit too strong for what's going on. Like, this is his mother correcting him, telling him, you know, don't stop her from singing. And so half scolding feels okay, but it should be half something else. Like almost... Now, again, admonish feels like that's too strict. Like, it's not really a harsh reprimand. It's more like she thinks he's being foolish. Folded her hands. She glanced at the king, who was, again, mischievously, and I misspelled mischievously, playing with the salt. Cue directed. Half scolding, half laughing. She glanced at the king, who was again mischievously playing with the salt. No, doing too much. He was... That's right. Sorry, my big head is in the way. She glanced at the king, who was again mischievously playing with the salt. Caught a subtle glance from her and rose from his seat. quietly relieve him of his plate. Another was immediately set to place it, and the king nodded, somewhat belligerently, which I'm confident that is, yeah, not spelled right. Belligerently, aggressively, pugnaciously, antagonistically, ferociously, somewhat. I don't like using soft language. Like the half scolding, somewhat belligerently, not really how I do things. Typically, I try to be firm and direct, but this is courtly things. For shifting his gaze, no, gaze, no, gaze to Arista expectantly. And then to Garrett before shifting his gaze to Arista expectantly. Servant quietly returned the prince's fallen chair. The king is a jokester. He's far too old. First off, he's far too old to even be king anymore. Like, old, hunched over, bald head, long white mustache. Like, he should have abdicated the crown years ago. But chose not to, chose to keep it. But everybody loves him. Everybody loves his kindness, his humor, his wit. But right now, he's oversalting his food, and he knows he's not supposed to. So Lord Paravel, which is actually the court doctor, gets up and removes his plate because it's too much. And hence the whole, like, he nods somewhat belligerently, like, yeah, okay. Ooh. Petulant. Petulant actually might be a better softening, like a better tone than belligerently, because belligerently is more aggressive. Petulant is good. Like, he's admitting, like, yeah, I know, I was goofing off. No, I like that. I like that softening. He's not grumpy. He doesn't really do grumpy. Like I said, the king is a jokester. Always got like a twinkle in his eye. Always, he's too playful. Is this a good place for a metaphor? Like a petulant child. Yeah. Yeah, and despite his advanced years, the king is very petulant, is very childlike. So what's happening in the scene, and the reason the king is oversalting his food, is Arista is adding way too much salt. Thank you. Yeah, is adding way too much salt to all the food as one of her social faux pas. Because she's a mermaid, so anything that doesn't have a ton of salt in it is going to taste really bland to her, because she's used to everything that she digests having a certain amount of seawater with it. he sees her doing it, and the court is all aghast. And so the king, like, is kind of playfully making fun of it. Like, if it's getting this much of a rise out of everyone because she's doing it, yeah, he's being nice, he's being playful, he's kind of making a joke out of the whole thing. And he's normalizing her behavior. And I'm at the point now where people are asking, like, you know, what drew you so close together? Well, no, it's his doctor who's taking the plate away. Like, he's an old man. He shouldn't have that much sodium on his food. And if it's something that his wife and his doctor both agree on, like, he's not going to be so petulant that he's going to defy them. It's like, okay, yeah. So they came in and just replaced his plate, gave him a fresh one, and he's not even interested in that because the wife is suggesting that they should let Arista sing right now. And Garrett just offered the excuse, well, people are still eating. So he's just politely like, okay, I'm done for now. Please go ahead and sing. It's less nice and more of him just kind of being a scamp at the moment. Like, he's just, like I said, he's kind of childish and a bit of a jokester. All around, nobles encouraged Arista to encouraged. All around, the nobles pleaded Arista to sing. Encouraged. Begged. Nobles don't really beg. Encouraged. Encouraged Arista to sing for them, most setting their cutlery aside. Coaxed. Thank you for being just a living living thesaurus. Coaxed Arista to sing for them, most setting their cutlery aside and remarking they were full for now. Seeing the shared sentiment, Garth hesitantly followed suit. No, not really. Arista has just been busy shoveling food into her face. What I was going for when I was writing the scene with Arista is I was thinking about the dinner scene in The Little Mermaid where she picks up the fork and starts brushing her hair with it, and combining that with the scene in Beauty and the Beast where he's like struggling to eat soup out of a small spoon. So I was thinking about that as I was shaping the scene, and Arista just comes in dressed as a noble lady, but she doesn't even like wearing clothes. And immediately starts using her hand to grab everything, and is just making a scene, and is shoving food in Garrett's face, like, oh, honey, try this. Yeah. So she just all around making a a huge scene, a huge fuss, and Garrett is trying to explain things, and the Queen is like, "Oh my, well, how long was she on that island by herself for?" So it's, yeah. You probably missed the elaboration bit. So my original plan for this chapter is I'm shooting for between 3,000 and 4,000 words per chapter, and I've got everything written out to separate scenes. I've got 11 scenes plotted for this chapter, and I'm on 4,870 words at the moment. And I'm only on 5. I'm only on scene 5 right now. In fact, I'm just at the beginning of 5, so really I've only done 4 scenes so far. So I'm well over my word count. I've already figured out, I think, where I'm going to cut the chapter off at, which is at the moment when the chef has just had enough and like can't stand watching her ruin all the food that he spent the day preparing and just storms out of there. Like, that's the point where I'm going to end this chapter, I think. But Garrett is trying to navigate the situation. He hasn't told anybody that she's actually a mermaid, so he's trying to keep that hidden. And she's about to do the worst thing. Chef Pomeroy lost his dignified repose altogether and had to brace himself against the serving table while fighting the urge to chew on his thoroughly crumpled hat. He instead took to dabbing his forehead with it as all around he witnessed his culinary perfection being sullied. So, yeah, the noble women are so enchanted by their love story that they all start to, like, mimic what Arista is doing. So instead of people being aghast, it becomes a social norm. And so all of a sudden the ladies are sticking their fingers in the food and putting them in their husbands' mouths and oversalting stuff to get an idea as to what she's doing. So, yeah, she becomes fashionable, and it's just driving the chef nuts. That's a good point. Might be too easy, but that's kind of just where the writing took me. I mean, it turns. Well, thank you for that. All right. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind as I go through for the edit. But then we'll see how the following scene works. Because what I'm building to is she starts to sing. And she really can't not enchant people with her singing. So all of a sudden, the men start to become more lascivious. Some people fall asleep. A lot of people swoon to it. Like, it has an effect on the crowd. And that causes a lot of suspicion and a lot of judgment to her. So I'm elevating to like high approval to have her fall out later on. And she's going to end up chewing out the crowd for it, because when all the men start hitting on her and when Garth starts being overly familial and she's just going to start tearing everyone a new one and saying, "You're nothing but a bunch of animals." And then Garrett's going to have to rush her out of there. And then they have a fight. Yeah. Well, amused or laughing cruelly. You should check out the first book. It's actually out now. It's available on Kindle. It's not too expensive. Kindle or Amazon Prime. A little bit like that. But then it does start to affect her. So nowhere to be found. See the sheriff's enemy follow suit. Garrett was stunned into helpless silence and found himself falling back into his seat. For a moment, he began to run his fingers through his caught a suspicious glance from Sister Kayleen. Oops. That made him that froze him. He would know, but he's used to it. He's been living with her for years, so he just didn't really think anything of it. He didn't realize just how this was going to go down. But they've had talks about eating. I mean, it took convincing on his behalf just to get her to accept cooked food instead of trying to eat everything raw. Try to spell this right because it's a made-up name. Sister Kayleen, for one, can see magic all over Arista. She hasn't talked about it yet, but she can tell that there's... No, Sister Kayleen is deeply suspicious of Arista for a couple of reasons. One, she has purple hair. Humans do not have purple hair in this world. The only species that she knows of that have hair of an unnatural color would be elves or half-elves. So Sister Kayleen is operating under the assumption that Arista is part dark elf, like at least somewhere in her bloodline. And then she can also see that there's magic. It is, but Arista doesn't know this, and Garrett didn't think about it. Garrett is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. He's smart, but he's not... He's educated, but he's not exactly like the most clever guy. I designed Garrett to be intentionally simple. And yeah, there's definitely going to be people who are suspicious and assume that she has the Rephaim blood in her. But Sister Kayleen is a half-elf herself. She's half Nephilim. I actually use Enochian myth in my legends, so Rephaim and Nephilim are what I use as my elves. So I'm borrowing from Celtic mythology, where they claim that the elves were the children of the sky gods, or angels. Sister Kayleen is a priestess. That's what the sister is for. She's like the top religious authority in the kingdom. So she's from the temple. She's from the Church of Josirian. Josirian being the progenitor of the High Elves, the very first Nephilim, and the one who wrote most of the Book of Virtues. Yeah. Lulu. Noisy neighbors. With that, the singing began. With that, the singing began. Soft, clear, wordless melody. Something far more ancient than what anyone hearing it might have assumed. The song resonated around the hall. It clung to the air. As the song resonated around the hall, it clung to the air. And gave it and weaved it into a heavy blanket. Yeah, sorry, I'm at the bottom of this page. I can't scroll up anymore. Well, it's enchanted. You know what? I like that. Weaved it together into a heavy net. It was a soft, clear, wordless melody, something far more ancient than what anyone hearing it might have assumed. As the song resonated around the hall, it clung to the air and weaved it into a heavy net. Each heart was snared and pulled from its... Why do I do that? Yeah. Yeah. Thinking like a fishing net. The chart was snared and pulled from its depths. Till it floundered against the ceiling. Like to flop. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm comparing people's hearts to caught fish. So it's a metaphor. Like, they're so lifted out of themselves, it's just sort of like, yeah, like everything inverted, the world is turned upside down, and their hearts are just flopping against the ceiling. Like, that's how lifted they are. Old nobles. Old nobles felt the pull of yesteryears. A rising heat in their bosoms. Continue to thicken with the song until it had crept into every breath. Okay, I'm going to allow that, of course. From a woman's perspective, do you mean arousal in their bosom? I'm slightly confused. The wording is fine. It's just yeah. The heat rising in their bosoms, like it gets the rhythms going. I want to be careful in using heat in the loins. or referring to genital areas. Like, I already get flagged for erotic content. Like, I can't advertise my first book because it's too steamy to advertise in general on Amazon, which is unfortunate. It makes finding it hard. Like, you specifically have to be under books and know the title. Yeah. But that's the market that I'm writing for, is that romantasy scene. I mean, I would rather be writing hero's journeys and psychological thrillers and adventure, but this is the path I'm on right now. Every breath and staggered, every will. Few were unmoved. I want to say very few were unmoved. Stick with few were unmoved. Yeah, no, it's fine. I like where you're going with that. But say cheeks flustered until bodices were loosened. As the air continued to thicken, with the possessive melody. It crept into every breath and staggered every will. Few were unmoved. That's a good point. What I did for the first book is I wound up writing a paragraph about something because I was going for that full emotional and very poetic sort of vibe, and then basically writing the same paragraph over again but trying it out in a different way, and then merging those two together in order to get like the full intention and meaning. With this one, I've been far more focused on just building action and like showing rather than telling. This session, I'm doing something a little bit more on the poetic end of things. Like now, paragraph, Queen Gwendolyn was like rose petals on snow as they sat atop his white mustache. Capules, no. Couples embraced in restrained affection, while a few forgot their noble standards entirely. Beamed, and I'm gonna have blushing too much. I'm gonna have to find something else to replace some of this stuff. Giselle beamed and blushed. Turning to her husband, Garth, with bated expectation. Only to be ignored as his gaze upon Arista intensified. Garrett saw the change occurring, knowing full well the spell that was working its way around each soul. He had, around each soul, he had, what's the word I'm looking for? To ensure his love was pure. Now he was aware of its minded to the uninitiated. gauging the heartfelt reactions. Jocelyn swooned and fanned herself furiously before turning to Galen with fevered, expectant glances as he slumped forward on his elbow and fell asleep. Many around the table did the same. Those who were not flustered into frenzied desire drifted off into slumber. Sister Kayleen not frumpled, high, crisp collar. So I'm going to add that micro adjustment, boom, and then I like this. I'm going to borrow that sentence. Yes, Mischief? Lulabelle, be nice. Lou, hush up. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, book buyer. I think I'm going to call this a break, though. It's an hour and a half. I've done over 1,000 words right now. Pretty good. Still on 5. All right. Yeah, I'm going to call this a break for now. I'm at 5,327 words so far for this chapter, so definitely some bloat. And book buyer had recommended adding some apostrophes so I know where it's going to end. It's a good idea. Yeah, I'm going to end this stream for now. Hour and a half. Yep, that's good. I might be back. I would like to be back. I should definitely practice some art today, too. So we'll see. If I come back on later, it's probably going to do some sketching and just some art practice so I can get into illustrating, because despite all the bloat and the extra words that are going into the story, I kind of got this feeling that I should illustrate it too. So on top of it being extra thick, I might want to work on some illustrations. We'll see. But I'm going to end it for now. It's an hour and a half straight of working. Let this marinate a little bit. But thank you. I'll be back. Peace out.